Hey, Stu from UAVfutures here, and today, well, the one that some of you guys have been waiting for, what we've got, this is the 2.5 inches that you can do a lot with, the 2.5 inch massive droner from Catalyst Machine Works. Now, if you haven't seen the bench breakdown, the part 1 video, go check this little link that should pop up right here. But what this is the fun stuff. You want to see, for all you fellas out there, you want to see anything in G, what just can I do with 2.5 inches? Well, get set to get stunned, because we're going to take this little drone out. Don't let it size fool you. You get a full-size FPV fantastic experience with this little bad boy. We're going to take it out, rip it around. I'm going to show you some DVR. We'll hand it over to Grumpy Trev, crash test Cal, and then hit this thing with a speed gun, and you're going to be blown away at the speed you can get on 2.5 inches on only a 3S battery. So that's it here in the studio. Let's cut out to the field and have some fun with the massive droner in 3, 2, 1, bam. I bet you weren't expecting that. You're expecting a
Radio out here in the field. I'm pretty excited because this is something that I've wanted to fly for a long time. I know Crash Test Cal, Grumpy Trev, they're eagerly telling me not to break this thing because they want to fly it as well. So what we're going to be doing, this is Catalyst Machine Works. We're on 2.5 inch props, the massive droner. We're out here in a pretty cool, super secret location, so we're going to fly it around, show you some Aussie bush and why this little thing is going to absolutely rip on a 3S. All right, let's show you some DVR and have some fun. Okie dokie.
Alrighty, so here we go on board with the massive droner, and I just really want you to remember that for 2.5 inches and only 3S, the capabilities of this thing really are next level. I would have never have thought this was possible, and it just proves to show how much our hobby is always growing and innovating, and just how good technology is getting nowadays. And Catalyst Machine Works, this version that they've got anyway here, the bind and fly version, it works so well. But I'm sure you can make some other cheaper versions out there that do a pretty good job. Now, speaking of the actual craft, flight characteristics itself, you can see for something that really is so little and isn't meant to traditionally have a lot of power, this thing is absolutely ripping. And I'm sure if you gave some experienced pilots, you put it in their hands, they were on the goggles, and you sort of didn't let them see the size of the drone, you just sort of pretend they were blindfolded or something like that, doing a little bit of acro there. But if they were blindfolded and you said, okay, what sort of size craft do you think you're flying? I guarantee I don't think they'd be picking 2.5 inches. And even if you didn't display it on the screen, saying the OSD, I don't think they'd think it was 3S as well, because it just has so much power. Now, when I was ripping around in here, the one thing I did hear constantly in the background was Trevor and Cal saying, Stuart, don't break it, take it easy, stop it, because they were busting to fly it as well. And it just all clipped that little tree, and it was absolutely insane. And so much fun. It felt so locked in, out of the box. I had heaps of confidence. It was so agile and nimble, and I felt like I could fly this anywhere. Now, I can see a huge market for these things. Say a bunch of people get together, they spec out the 2.5 inch prop size and rip these things around in a warehouse. That would be a ton of fun, because look, that's what this feels like. It doesn't feel like one of those toy ones or just even an FPV experience when you're sort of floating around. This feels like a full-on racer, and it's just scaled down, but the speed's still there and the power is still there. It's of course, it's not going to carry a GoPro, but this thing absolutely screams. I also think that, look, this is going to be great for people. They've got some 5 inches out there. They want a little quad they can put in their lunchbox. They can take it out, rip around, and have a lot of fun no matter where they're going to go. You can see I wanted to dive in the canopies there, and Trev was saying, no, you're going to get it stuck. So we sort of had to bail because they were super excited to fly it as well. But yeah, this thing, look, my hat's off to Catalyst Machine Works, an awesome little quad that is a hell of a lot of fun. And you can see just power to absolutely burn. And that's on low volts as well, sort of coming in there. So that part, pretty crazy stuff. Anyway, what we should do, let's hand it over to Grumpy Trev and see what he thinks as well.
So I think you guys can see how much fun that was. And I mean, that was like a maiden flight on the maiden track. So that's the first pack I've put through this location with this setup. And very cool stuff, especially when you're considering like that battery is actually a little bit warm, but the flight time was a 700 milliamp hour with only like a pretty low quality battery. So this thing definitely screams. Now, I don't want to talk too much about it. These boys were talking about it in the background. What we're going to do a little bit differently, let's hand it over and get their first impressions so they can have a bit of a discussion about it, and then we'll hand it over to those two and see what they think when they're actually on the sticks. Alrighty, who wants to hold this little thing? It's called the... Trevor almost axed himself running away. Why are you running away, Trev?
Because it's good, I've already seen it fly.
Yep. What did you think? So what are your first impressions? Because you two haven't felt it on the sticks, and I've tried to contain my excitement, but yeah, what did you think?
Well, it looks nice and compact, and geez, it looked good flying. Yeah, it looked fast. I reckon you'd beat most people with a 5 inch with this thing.
What do you think about the frame design? So for the tiny droner, the way it sort of all comes together, and I don't know, it's kind of like this roll cage on the front that it's only got these 2 bolts on the back. That's it holding it in. The rest is sort of
Yeah, it's
because of that.
very
it's pressed
clever,
together.
isn't it? Really like the frame. It's really well thought out.
What do you think about camera protection of this one?
Oh, it's great. I mean, you'd have to hit an awful thin tree to smash that.
And something else as well that I know, Cal, you're always talking about how you don't like lenses when they stick out and stuff. You can actually, it's got a little slit in there, you can slide it back and forth so you can get the exact camera placement, so it's protected, and it's also, I guess, you're not seeing that frame in your actual vision.
You want to have a hold, Cal?
Yeah, dude. Come on.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, what do you reckon, Cal? Some words from you.
That's unique. It's clever. That's incredible. Look, and
it's $30, I should say too.
Yeah, I'm usually very dubious about anything that's sub 3-inch. So I'm still a bit dubious about this, but I saw the way it just flew when you flew at them, but I'll have to get behind the sticks and see if it's going to live up to expectations. But yeah, look, it's pretty incredible, as most things that come out of Catalyst Machine Works are.
Yeah, what do you think about them and their stuff that they make?
Very refined, very top grade, top tier stuff.
Yeah.
There's no doubt about it.
That's probably something that's interesting about this one too. I know in like the design brief and the things they were talking about, it was that they wanted an amazing frame that wasn't going to break the bank. So things like the America and stuff like that, they're right up there, you know, about $70. But this one for $30, I think. What do you think about that sort of lower price point?
Oh, you can't beat it. It's a well thought out frame. It's a one-piece bottom plate as well. Everything. I don't know. Do you have any idea how much the frame itself weighs?
Yeah. I'd have to.
30 grams.
I'm gonna poke a little picture up here because I did weigh it. I can't remember off the top of my head.
It feels
it's
just
pretty light.
Very light. And look, the only thing left is to take it for a burl. Yeah.
All right, let's do it. Who's up first? Who's gonna crash first? That's what I'm gonna say.
Look how much there is to
There is a
crash
fair
into.
bit. There is a fair bit.
First, Cal.
All right.
All right, let's go crash test, Cal. See if you can live up to that name.
All right.
Well, you're doing better than last time. You didn't crash straight off the bat.
4 seconds. You're doing all right.
It's all right. I've got to get used to this little area though. Wow. It's got good punch, good power. I can't believe it for a little 2.5 inch. Wow. I've never really controlled a 2.5 inch that has so much control. This is unbelievable. It feels great.
What do you reckon about the punch on it for a 3S and 2.5 inch?
It's got great punch. Look, there's plenty of throttle in reserve. It's tight, it's quick, it's very obedient.
Any oscillations or anything like that?
No, it feels like it's been tuned by a master. No, it's great. You could use this in a big wide open space very easily because it's fast. It's fast. It's with that agility as well. It makes it well suited quad to use anywhere. In a place like this with this canopy, it's kind of perfect for this area really. Once we set up the track and start doing it, I think you're going to find that this is going to be a winner. It looks like it could even do a big track pretty well. But look, the pitch is great. I think it's running a little Fox ear or something.
Yep.
So there's no complaints with the video feed. There's no noise at all on the video feed. So they're using some good components, obviously.
All right, so I guess what's Cal's famous 4 words? What do you think about it? You've been going for ages. What's your flight time on?
5 minutes
Okay.
and 10 seconds.
Yep. What's give us Cal's famous 4 words? That's a sound. He's thinking. He's thinking. Thinking, flying, this could be dangerous.
Don't give it too grumpy.
Yeah, that's it. Don't give it to someone like Grumpy, because you'll never see it again.
All right.
Either if he smashes it into a tree or he takes it home with him.
All right, yeah, so don't give it... Oh, you're down.
Yeah.
Too much. So is that your final words? Don't give it to Grumpy?
Pretty much. Look, if you're like me, I'm very dubious about anything that's sub 3 inch, so it's opened my mind up, so I'll definitely be looking at a smaller craft.
You're a fan?
Yeah, I am.
Did it perform better than you thought it was going to?
Absolutely, yeah. I thought it was going to be a bit gutless and just, you know, constantly using that full throttle to get me around hard turns and pulling up out of dives and everything, but I didn't find that. It felt like it had plenty of throttle in reserve.
All right, nice.
Yeah.
Thanks, Cal.
No worries.
I don't know where you actually crashed.
Behind us somewhere.
I think you're out. I thought you were over there. Did you see it, Trev?
No, I
I thought I was out here somewhere.
Cal has legit lost it. I see it. God. That's one thing, it's so small, you've really got to be paying attention to where it goes. So Cal thought it was over there somewhere, and turns out we're over here. Or maybe he did know and he wanted to come back and take it later. Doing a trick of Trevor's. All right, so we're set up. Let's see if you can lose this one as well. I don't want to jinx it too much. We're over there.
Is that a 4.3 lens on that?
Ready to rock and roll.
Oh, I pressed the wrong button. Oh, hang on.
Yeah, you got the, what have you got?
Yeah,
there you go.
Yeah.
All right. You watch how long this takes into the treetops. Oh, Trevor, what have you done?
I just wanted to see Cal run after it. Well, it's got plenty of punch, that's for sure. Like, I'm not even game to give this a bit of throttle around here because it'll disappear in the bloody, in the oblivion.
Does it feel smooth?
It's smooth as anything. It's really smooth for, what size is this thing? 2 point something?
2.5, so it's either made for 2-inch props or 2.5-inch props.
Yeah, it's really smooth. I'm not fanging it, I don't need to because I can feel the power it's got. It's cruising around these trees now. It's nice, really, oops. There's another one.
Dodging a few.
Fuck, yeah, they come up pretty quick. I'd really consider buying one of these. Really, it's for 30 bucks, how can you go wrong? It's just a fangs, isn't it? Whoa, very, very nice.
Do you think Catalyst Machine Works knows what they're doing when it comes to designing?
Oh, yeah, it just looks so nice. Everything fits, like it's just so precise what they do. Yeah, they know their shit. This really flies well, really locked in. It's even just to cruise in and out of these trees here, it is just smooth. Did I say it was smooth?
Yeah, you did.
Are they the props that come with it, Stu?
Yep.
I really like it. It is really nice. The 3S, it's got so much punch.
Is that the best 2.5 size inch quad you've ever flown?
Oh, I'd have to say yes.
Have you flown many though?
Only a couple, probably 3. This even feels faster than the XJB.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know, I'd have to fly the XJB around here to just to say, you know, compare the difference, but it is nice. I just can't believe how logged in this thing is.
What would you say, what's the Grumpy Trev rating out of 10 in terms of performance?
Oh, this is 10, absolutely 10.
And what about in terms of value for money? So look, the Bind and Fly, there's a couple of different versions, so I'll put all those links down below. But for value for money, for 30 bucks for this frame, what would you say?
30 bucks, it's a 10, absolute 10.
Wait, so we've just got a double 10. Hang on, yeah. I'm going to run over and get the quad. What was your flight time there?
5 minutes, 35 seconds.
Okay, so it's not too inefficient as well.
That was really good fun to fly.
So you've said 10 for value and 10 for performance.
Yeah.
Have you ever given that score before? I don't know if you have.
Yeah, I have. I think Chameleon.
Okay.
But for a 3-inch, that was
2.5 inch, mate. On a 3S.
2.5 inch on a 3S. I mean, yeah. And that's, you know, these batteries are only about $7. So
yeah. Does make it cheap if you want to sort of get into the game.
The only thing I'd like to see is probably a bit better colour in the camera, but other than that, it's really nice little quad.
Nice.
And I wouldn't take any points off that because it's the camera, not the quad.
Yep.
What I really like about this is it's really precise. The guys at Catalyst Machine Work have either, you know, done the PIDs and tested every component, but it feels like you could run the small gates, the tiny little small gates you see for micro quads. You could set up a track for this quad and have no problem hitting all the gates because it's like threading a needle. It's just so precise, so locked in that you can just about do anything with it.
All right, so with that said and done, you've both flown it. What do you think it's going to go on a 3S battery? How fast do you think it's going to go? Miles per hour. Who's going to go first? This is sort of uncharted territory because we don't have too much to compare this to.
2.5 inch, gosh.
2.5 inch on a 3S, mate.
Well, I'm going to be a bit conservative, but I reckon that'll do 90.
No, God. You know, and there is not a breath of wind today either, so what do you reckon, Cal?
I think 80 mile an hour.
All right, I'm going to go bang in the middle, rose between two thorns. I'm going to go 85. All right, let's suit up and see how it goes.
All right, guys, this is a bit of a speed run with a difference today. We don't have a huge open area where we can get a big run up or anything here, so it's going to be a tight little gig, but we've got a tight little flyer, so we'll see how it all comes together. 2.5 inch, I just can't see it going over 80 mile an hour. I think you just need that 1/2 inch of extra prop to get you there, but let's see if I'm going to be proven wrong. Catalyst Machine Works, they're good at refining their quads, and they've obviously put a bit of time and effort into getting this thing just right. So let's see what it can do, because it's a pretty incredible little flyer so far. And gosh, if you're lucky enough to live on an acreage where you can set up your own little track and perhaps don't have a big enough area for a 5-inch track, Well, this would be a great little quad for something like that. Gets up at boogies, it's precise, you can shoot very small gaps with it. It's a great proximity flyer just because of its precision. It's like you can thread needles with this quad. We're off and running. Ooh. All right, let's see what this thing can do. I'm ready for you.
Are you ready?
I'm ready. 76 mile an hour. Okay, so that's about where I thought it might be. Let's have a look. 78 mile an hour. 74. Man, have you ever seen such a fantastic pocket quad? Because that's what it is. Oh, that was 73. Look, I don't think we're going to even hit 80 with this, but you wouldn't expect it on 2.5 inch props. Come on. 76. Oh, gee, it sounds fantastic. Get out of here, you little. Oh, I almost got. Oh, almost got circumcised twice. Recircumcised. Oh gosh. Oh, okie dokie. What did you reckon? Okay, it's a little terror. What did you reckon? You were flying in a very tight area.
Yeah, and I reckon actually with it, like this is actually a 30 to a 60C battery. I reckon if I just don't fly 3S much anymore. So if I had some better batteries, I reckon it'd go even quicker. So what was that, 78?
Yeah.
Did you say?
78.
It's not bad for 2.5 inches on a 3S.
Ooh.
When you can compare it to what we usually fly. Right?
Tiny little motors. They did a great job.
Thanks, CTC.
Rightio, so there it is. There's my flight review of the massive drone from Catalyst Machine Works. And honestly, I've bent some of the props here, but for 2.5 inches, this thing is absolutely packed full of fun. And I can't believe just how fast it goes on a 3S battery. And it really is a silky smooth flight experience. So it feels like you're flying a much larger drone in terms of speed and response, but it's also got that sort of snappy agility that you're looking for in some of those smaller craft. So, you know, hats off to Catalyst Machine Works. They make some fantastic stuff. They've done it again with the massive droner. I think it's definitely what I want to see in these micro-sized drones, and it's fantastic that it's not priced, you know, out of the range at some of those premium options as well. I think it's very, very good value, you know, 30 bucks for a frame, and definitely onto a winner. Anyway, what do you guys think? Drop your comments down below, as well as probably some innuendos about what you think about the massive droner. Subscribe for more FPV related content, and as always, happy flying. Catalyst Machine Works too. Cal wants to know, would you ever do like a 3-inch version so we could boost it up just a little bit and maybe put, you know, he wants like a 4S, 1407, you know, maybe a 3-inch version. Is there going to be one of those coming out? Anyway, happy flying.
Alrighty, so hopefully you guys enjoyed that video. Definitely subscribe if you're new to the channel and check out these videos. And I'm also going to leave a little link here to my Patreon page because I've got some fantastic Patreon supporters and I like to give back to them as well. So if you want to join the UAVfutures family, there's things like bonus Velcro straps, little bundles of FPV goodies and things like that that also get sent out. Anyway, happy flying.